Welcome to In Depth with Academia. I'm Richard Price, your host, and as always, I'm CEO of Academia EDU. I'm here to bring you up close with the latest, most intriguing research shaping our understanding of the world. Today we're diving into a dense, fascinating paper by Karim Hanid titled Arachidonic Acid Metabolism, Active Derivatives, and Pathophysiological Implications, From Inflammation to Resolution and Oxidative Stress. Whew, that's one mouthful, but trust me, it's packed with ideas you'll want to chew on. So, what's this all about? The core question the paper tackles might sound technical, but it's actually super relevant to our everyday health. How does the metabolism of arachidonic acid, a type of fat found in your cell membranes, shape things like inflammation, the healing process, and yes, even cell death? And why does this matter for everything from asthma to stroke, pain to neurodegeneration? Now, before we jump in, a quick reminder, I'm presenting this piece in a spirit of exploration. Academic research doesn't hand us truth. It gives us insight, hypotheses, new vantage points. The stuff I'm sharing comes from Karim Hanid, and I'm not endorsing or debating, just ushering you through the intellectual landscape. Let's start with the basics. Arachidonic acid, or AA, is an omega-6 fatty acid. Picture it as a key ingredient embedded in your cell membranes, lying in wait until some sort of stress, like an injury or maybe an allergic reaction, activates special enzymes to set it loose. Once free, AA can be quickly transformed into a wild variety of bioactive lipid mediators. These are signaling molecules that orchestrate everything from fever and pain to healing and even programmed cell death. Pretty cool, right? So how does AA actually do all this? The paper breaks it down into several main metabolic pathways. You've got your cyclooxygenase, or KOX pathway. It produces prostaglandins and thromboxanes, which are major players in inflammation, pain, fever, and blood clotting. Ever taken ibuprofen or aspirin for a headache? You're mainly blocking this pathway. Next up, the lipoxygenase, or LOX, pathway. This gives rise to leukotrienes and lipoxins. The leukotrienes kick off bronchoconstriction, making them big in asthma and allergy, while lipoxins sort of put the brakes on inflammation and help switch your body from fight mode to heal mode. There's also the cytochrome P450, or CP450 pathway, which helps regulate blood flow and pressure. Each of these routes churns out molecules with opposing and sometimes even antagonistic effects, kind of like your body's own checks and balances. What's wild is just how intertwined this AA system is with your health. The paper details how disruptions, say producing too much of one mediator and not enough of another, are linked to chronic illnesses like arthritis, cardiovascular diseases, obesity, metabolic syndrome, and neurodegenerative disorders. It's almost like AA sits at a crossroads where immunity, inflammation, healing, and metabolic health all intersect. If you ever wondered why, for instance, the same drugs can impact pain, blood pressure, and even mood, hey, this is part of the answer. One of the paper's standout points is how AA isn't just about starting inflammation, but also resolving it. For example, those lipoxins I mentioned, your body produces them on purpose to dampen the fire after an immune response. There's this whole orchestrated switch from pro-inflammatory to anti-inflammatory signals. And it's not just on and off. It's a finely balanced symphony, with each molecule playing its own part. Disrupt that, and you might get chronic diseases where inflammation never really turns off. Now, digression time. All this talk about balances and switches kind of reminds me of those old light dimmers instead of simple light switches. You know, the ones where you can fine-tune the brightness, not just have it on or off. Sometimes science feels like that too. There's always more nuance than we first think. I once tried to install a dimmer in my kitchen, and honestly, let's just say it turned into several hours and an emergency call to my friend who actually knows what wiring means. Anyway, back to AA. The paper doesn't just dwell on biology, it looks ahead to the clinic, and it describes how AA's pathways provide targets for a gathering wave of therapies. Not only the well-known NSAIDs, but also new, much more precise drugs. We're talking about compounds that could specifically promote the molecules responsible for healing or inhibit just the right ones, so you resolve inflammation without compromising your ability to fight off infections. There's even excitement about influencing ferroptosis, a form of cell death tied to oxidative stress, which might be key in cancer or neurodegeneration. So what does all this mean for you, listening right now? It highlights the complexity behind the symptoms and diseases you might encounter or hear about. Next time you take an anti-inflammatory or hear a news story about dietary fats and their effect on disease risk, you can think, oh, there's a storm of molecular action happening beyond what I can see. More importantly, it's a reminder that biological systems rarely act in black and white. The way our bodies maintain health, respond to threats, and heal involves feedback, switches, and a wild array of molecules. Research like this just peels the curtain back a little more. Wrapping up, remember, what researchers like Karim Hanid propose encourages us to think in terms of dynamic balance, not simple cause and effect. As science digs deeper, our tools and treatments get smarter, but the humility to recognize complexity is crucial. Maybe the next breakthrough will come not from blocking a single molecule, but from letting the body's own balancing act lead the way. Thanks for joining me for this whirlwind tour on In Depth with Academia. I hope you're leaving with fresh curiosity about how molecules like AA influence everything from fevers to healing. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and remember, academic research is a journey, not a destination.